Hi everyone, it's Sally here and it's the 1st of April, which means we are into Stress Awareness Month. I thought I'd hop on and share some information with you about the stress curve. We know that some stress can be healthy for us, it can be helpful in terms of our performance levels, but we also know it can start to become unhealthy, and how do we manage that balance? Lots of talk at the moment about burnout, so we're going to see how that relationship fits in as well. So let's get started. Here we have our stress curve. First of all, on this left-hand axis, we have levels of performance that go from low levels of performance to high levels of performance. Then across the bottom, we have got levels of pressure. So it starts with low levels of pressure over here, through to moderate, through to high, and then very high. Now, it's fair to say that we've all experienced the benefits, the positives, the negatives of pressure. Just about enough means that we perform well and we can sustain that in a healthy way, but too much pressure, we really start to feel that, maybe becoming overwhelmed, we struggle to cope, and if we don't have enough pressure, we struggle to get anything done. So our starting point is here on the left-hand side, low levels of pressure with low levels of performance. That's this area here, and we call that bore out. Someone is completely bored here. There's no expectations, there's no goals, there's nothing to work towards. We call it bore out because there's nothing to achieve and somebody's likely to be bored. Now, as we see the levels of pressure start to increase to moderate levels of pressure, we can start to see performance increase. So here we've got goals being set, we've got targets to achieve, and it's enough to result in a good level of pressure. We call this place our comfort zone, okay? So we're getting things done on a regular basis, day to day. Everything feels hunky-dory, everything's feeling good. We are in our comfort zone, and it results in a decent and a good level of performance. So whilst it does feel nice here, we don't want to stay here all the time because we don't really grow, we don't really stretch beyond our current capabilities, and we do want to grow as individuals and push ourselves outside of our comfort zone. Now that is our next zone with higher levels of pressure. This is where we start to stretch. We call this the stretch zone, and this is where we can start to achieve that optimum level of performance, okay? Now when we're in stretch, this is where we are doing activities that require all of our focus, attention and energy. We draw on our stress hormones that help us to raise our game. Now, being here all the time is likely going to be very tiring. So to achieve optimum levels of performance, we want to work between our comfort zone and our stretch zone. Okay, so we might chunk our task to do 2 hours of stretch work followed by a couple of hours of comfort zone work where we're not drawing on those hormones all of the time, and that can help us to sustain healthy and high performance. If we don't have the opportunity for comfort zone work, then we need to think about rest breaks, our lunch breaks, rest during the day, our evenings and our weekends as well. Because if we aren't getting that balance right, the pressure is ever increasing, then we start to strain. And that's our orange area here. This is the strain zone. So we're starting to feel really tired here. Maybe we're making some errors. Perhaps actually what's happening now is we're starting to feel anxious because our performance has started to dip. So whilst initially we can perform well up here, quite quickly as that tiredness and the anxiety starts to take over, our performance starts to drop. And that's before we reach crisis here of burnout. Now we've heard this word burnout, cynicism, total exhaustion. We've got nothing left. We've given our all and we've got nothing more to give. Okay, this is a very difficult area to be in when we're in burnout. We need immediate rest and support. We need to think about our sleep, looking after ourselves, because the more we go into that crisis, the harder it is to come back from it. If we find ourselves further into burnout, what we might find ourselves doing is having to take a year, maybe up to 3 years, rest. Maybe we're coming across the bottom of our pressure curve into bore out, starting with very little and building ourselves up slowly and surely. So hopefully that helps to explain the relationship between stress, our performance, how it can be healthy, but then develop into unhealthy, causing us to become unwell as well. Consider where you're at on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis. Where do you think you are? Think about the decisions you're making. What choices are you making as well? And hopefully that can help you in your day-to-day stress management potentially. I hope this is helpful. I will be sharing lots of content this month, so please do stay tuned with us. Thank you so much for watching.